Hello, I am Sean Sands from Gamers with Jobs. Welcome back to a Factorio Conversation. Trying to figure out what I want to do today. Let's see, what do we want to do? We've got our steel at a very basic level up and running. Steel takes time. We've got our what do you call these? The circuit boards going. We got a good amount of copper, a good amount of iron. We probably ought to boost our iron. That's right. We need to boost our iron production. Problem does not seem to be the amount of iron coming in from the quarry, though we can certainly continue to kind of boost that. And maybe we should even this out a bit. So let's even that out. It's probably unnecessary, but it would make me feel good. Build a splitter and wait for the splitter. There's the splitter. I'd like to get it coming in on both sides. Hang on. If I do this, does that work? Yeah. Yeah. Just kind of balances it out to my mind. Maybe it doesn't do a huge help, but it feels like that balances it out. No, it doesn't seem to balance it out very much. Okay. Let's do this. Sorry, just thinking here. There, that should balance out. That's going to be relatively even. Is it ugly? Sure is. It's okay. And we can move that. I think maybe we do increase, though, the output, the overall output here. Just feels like there's some room to grow. And, I mean, there obviously is. So let's do... Got a little attack, but doesn't seem to be anything Nope. Wait, again, our guns take care of it? Yeah, that's one of the things we want to do, isn't it? We want to automate some, what do you call it? The ammunition. We want to automate some ammunition, so we're not quite worrying about it so much. Let's see. Go ahead and build one of these right here, maybe? Yeah. There we go. And maybe one right here. Okay. Need that there. To power it? Okay. And we've upgraded a little bit of our iron production, which is fine. We still need to just make more. So we're going to make more. And then we're going to build ammunition. Okay. What I want to talk about today is it's kind of, I don't know, we can call it self-indulgent. That's fine. I can live with that. What do we want? Circuit network, I'm not that worried about yet. We'll get there. I'd like the logistics so I can get to a car and some trains. What I want to talk about is podcasting. And just kind of guide. So, I mean, I have been in one form or another podcasting now for 10 years. For those of you who don't know, and whether you care or not, I have been, we got plenty of stone here. There we go. I've been doing a show called the Gamers with Jobs Conference Call. And I'm a co-host of it, co-founder of it, whatever. It doesn't matter. Titles, it's not really relevant. But I've been doing that show now for about 10 years. We just hit our 500th episode recently, which you can find on the channel. If you're, it's not, we'd love you to check it out, but if you don't, that's fine too. I'm not here to kind of promote. That's not the point of this conversation. It isn't to be like, oh, you should check us out. Look how cool we are. But to talk about the experience of it, I mean, that's a long time. It has been both a project of like a huge amount of passion and interest. Like you can't keep something like that up if you don't find it, you know, intensely engaging over the years. But at the same time, I mean, even the best, there's so few things in my life, relatively speaking, that I've stayed at consistently over a 5 year span. You could, if you take it to broad topics like, have you been playing video games? Well, yeah, I've been playing video games at least that long. But have I been playing a video game for that long? There's maybe one. Like I can think of World of Warcraft. I mean, but even something that I'm kind even something like Europa Universalis 4, which there is just no arguing that I'm not deeply invested in that game. Even something like that, I've only been doing to a certain degree. And I mean, we're talking a couple of years. 3 years, 2 years, 3 years? I don't know. I'm sitting here really, I mean, so my marriage, yep, that's 20 years. 20 years this year. That my wife and I have been together. I guess I've been a dad that long. I mean, my kids are older than that. So, well, no, one of my kids is older than that. So I guess I've been a dad that long. I have been at my current job for about 7 years, 8 years, something like that. But there's just not many things. And that ends up becoming a huge part of your life. Like the show we do, it's funny, because the show we do is sort of, it still feels, and this is the great part about it, I guess. Maybe this is what keeps it fresh and keeps it interesting to me. It still feels somewhat new to me. I mean, clearly, not 100% new. There's only, there's no making that statement that, oh, I feel like I just started yesterday. Well, obviously not. After you've done 500 episodes, if you say that, you're just not being honest with yourself. You're just not telling the truth. But at the same time, it also doesn't feel like something where I'm like, oh God, yeah, it feels like 10 years. It's a weird sensation. But I wanted to talk about like some of the experiences I've had podcasting and just kind of talking about being with something like that for 10 years and why I think I've kept up on it. Again, not to promote, like if you listen to the show, great. We genuinely appreciate it. But this isn't here to promote that. This isn't about, oh, if you don't, let me tell you all about the cool stuff we did. I want to talk about the experience of being part of a podcast for 10 years. Because it's to me genuinely a unique experience. I don't have any other experiences that marry up to it in quite the same way. And the honest truth is it wouldn't have, whoa, where'd you guys come from? Can you guys not? Stop it. Stop it. I'm shooting you. I don't have any. Oh, crap. Oh, my goodness. Come on. Okay. I'm going to lose some stuff here, clearly. Okay. You guys are dead. Okay. Well, we lost some transport. Do we have any others left? No, it doesn't look like. Okay, so I guess we need another. Ugh. Yeah, did I not get them all? I think I got them all. I guess we need another, what do you call it down here? Well, this is why we're working on turrets and automating piercing rounds. Jeez, it came out of nowhere. I guess we probably need to get some radars up soon too. Where do we want to put this? I'm glad they came up through instead of eating up my science production down here. That would have been painful. Let's put one here. And we will put some ammunition in there. Good. Okay. Well, hopefully that'll take care of that. Where was I? No idea. Oh, yeah. The thing is, again, oh my God, these attacks are getting a little overbearing. How are we doing? Are all of our turrets in decent shape? This one could use some healing. Let's do some healing. So the reality is, could not have done it. Would not have made it 10 years. Would not have made it 3 years. if it weren't for the fact that this is my opportunity every week to hang out with my best friends in the world. So we've had a lot of people over the years email the show and say, one of the reasons, I like listening to this, it feels like I'm just hanging out with a group of guys who really are best friends and, really like the same things. Well, I mean, that you've nailed it. That's the whole mixture right there. That's everything there is to say about our podcast. In a lot of ways, is that we're glad that's the feeling you get, because that's in many ways all it is. My friends, so I mentioned, I didn't mention, I mentioned in another video. I'm going out of town this weekend. So also just to be aware, if we have a little hiccup before the next episode comes up, just know that I'm out of town. I'll be back soon. Don't worry about it. But the reason I'm going out of town this weekend is because I'm going to visit one of my best friends in the world, who, by the way, just happens to be on the show. For those of you who listen, I'm going to hang out with my good friend, Julian Rabbit Murdoch, who, this is my opportunity most weeks to get to talk to this guy. And it always makes me really genuinely happy when somebody says, it feels like you guys are just hanging out and I'm getting to listen into a conversation between, friends, because that's all the podcast ultimately is. That is everything we are about in a nutshell. And it's so good that comes through on the show, because, like I say, this wouldn't still be happening if not for that mentality. Because that's a huge time commitment. This idea of, I will spend what ends up being 3 or 4 hours every week, not including any, prep work time or, whatever. There's a lot of different things that can go into making a podcast. At this point, that's a thing I'll get to in a minute. I'm definitely not saying like there's a lot of a huge amount of effort into it. Which sounds suspicious, but I don't mean it in a way that is sort of like, oh, we just phone it in every week. That's obviously not what we're doing. But at the same time, the nice thing about doing a thing over 5 years is that you start to figure out how to do that thing. Eventually you reach a point where it's like, okay, you do this and this and this, and you have this set up ahead of time, and you here's how you progress and have conversations with people and engage everyone, and keep the flow going, because honestly that's really the hardest part of this whole thing, is keeping a conversation moving in a positive direction. God, what am I doing? I'm not paying attention at all. I mean, I'm paying attention a little, but not enough. Yeah, because that's really the tricky part, is how do you, because I mean, even best friends in the world have those moments when everybody stops and says, I've said my thing. Maybe somebody else will say a thing. And then everybody sort of thinks that at the same time. Somebody else will say a thing because I've already said my thing. And that happens. It doesn't happen now as much as it did. But it certainly happened early on in the process of just these moments where everybody's like, God, I hope somebody picks up here, because I'm just out of things to say. And it's funny because and when I say early on, I'm like talking about year 5, we were still having those moments. And somehow, and all credit to Sean here, honestly. Sean Andritz, who is my partner in this crime we call Gamers with Jobs, and who I've worked with for these many, many years. And who is the core host of the show, really the backbone of the show, and his ability to kind of know how to step in and be a host and keep the flow moving is the cornerstone of the show. I mean, that's the hardest thing about a podcast, about a good podcast. And God, I don't know if we're a good podcast or not. I hope we are. But the most difficult thing about a good podcast is not having people who have opinions. There are lots of things about, what opinions are like, and I'll leave that for you to peruse on your own. But opinions aren't hard to come by, and good opinions too, right? Like people who are educated and informed on a subject. Um, Personalities aren't hard to come by. Having somebody who can sit down and talk for 2 hours is it's not all that uncommon. Let's not kid ourselves. This isn't rocket science here. Um, what I think is the interesting and the hard part, and the part that I think sustains us over time, is the ability to keep a pattern or a pace and keep a consistency, to keep a rhythm to all that, because it's actually really, really difficult. That's the hardest part of the whole thing, is just being able to, and it's frankly it's something I use in these videos too. The idea of, for lack of a better way of putting it, just keep talking, just keep going, trust in yourself to that you have something to say, that you started this conversation for a reason, because I think a lot of times, people are comfortable beginning a conversation, but they lose faith in themselves through the process of that conversation. They start to get it in their head of, oh, wait, what am I talking about? Or, oh, I've been talking too long. Nobody wants to hear me anymore. And don't get me wrong, that may be true. Sometimes that is a truth. But I think one of the big keys to podcasting, and being at least marginally decent at it, is the ability to sort of overcome that second guessing. I don't need a splitter. Why did I build a splitter? At some point, you have to get comfortable with the idea of hearing yourself talk, frankly, that was one of the things that took me the longest, is feeling comfortable with hearing my voice, and just not only recorded and played back, but just in a conversation, just in an extended conversation. It's frankly still something I struggle with. Those of you who listen may hear moments where I kind of second guess. Oh, why am I still in this conversation? Let somebody else take over. So the reason I start with this idea of you have to have the friends that you're doing with, because podcasting, like singing, like playing in a band, like any of these other things, is something where you have to build trust around that, and you have to trust that the people you've associated with yourself with in this process have got your back, and they're rooting for you too, or they're willing to take over when things have kind of fallen to the side, and you've also got to be willing to let them do that. And that's the skill that I think it's taken the longest to develop, and ultimately allows us to keep doing this, is because these are my best friends in the world, because we're kind of working toward a common goal, and we're all on the same page, and we've all been doing it for so long. We have a level of confidence and comfort that nobody's working against each other. That just doesn't happen automatically, even among best friends. Like there's a competition level, or even if there's not, there's that fear or that sense that maybe, if I botch this, will they just kind of ridicule me, or will they make fun of me, or something like that? And if that gets into your head in the process of making a podcast, it's game over. That's the whole ball of wax, as they say, because that becomes the central, that sort of takes over your thinking. Am I really out of transport belt? So there's like two components to that, each one equally important. One is just having people you trust. Push that. That's one. Have people you trust. Have people who will have your back over the process. I mean, and there's all the other obvious stuff. Like I shouldn't have to tell you, like, be consistent, be on time, be smart. Like, those are things you just, like, if you're going to podcast and you don't know those things, then, you're starting at square zero, and that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm not even saying necessarily, like, here's how you podcast. I know, because I've been doing it for 10 years. Just what has worked for us, and what I've taken away from it. But yeah, one is have people who have your back, and then two, have the confidence and trust in them to let them have your back, because that takes time. And I'll be honest, there were times where our show was in jeopardy. Like that's not a thing that comes 100% easy every time. And while we've persevered, I guess is the right term, sort of. That's the wrong place for that. It wasn't always for sure. It wasn't always, yeah, of course there will be Gamers with Jobs podcast for years and years and years. Um, not because not because of any sort of infighting or anything like that, but sustaining that for so long, it gets hard. Hard, not not hard from like I don't want to do it perspective, but just that oh I'm still doing this perspective. That just once, can we miss a week? Let's miss a week, it'll be fine. You get tempted into moments like that. I'm extremely proud now to say, and I again don't take all the credit or even most of the credit for this, that we never missed a week in 10 years, 500 episodes, whatever. um, there's going to be moments where that seems like a really good idea. um, and you need that. Oh, that's in the wrong place. um, you need that. Why won't this? Oh, because I didn't set it up right. You need a lot of things to go right, I guess is what I'm saying, to make that sort of thing happen that way. Um, because it doesn't want to. Things change over time. People change over time. There's no guarantee that the people you're hanging out with today, that you love dearly and that you will keep contact with for the rest of your life, are going to be in the same personal space that they are right now. That they're going to be in the same emotional space that they are right now. Those things change. Um, and it's a source of pride for me, I guess. Maybe that's bad. Maybe being prideful isn't good. We've lost something up here. Great, we have more attacks. Ugh. We got all this stuff is out of, and I'm out of. I need some more of these. Did I lose a turret up here? I bet I did. I just bet I did. This turret, yeah, turret's dead. All right. We've got to get this production up and going sooner rather than later, immediately. But I'm not trying to be maudlin here either. That's not the point of this. The amazing thing to me is how much I've still managed to enjoy it. Podcasting is, honestly, it's the same part of my head that has me enjoy these kinds of videos. Like this idea of exploring a topic, and you don't always go into it knowing exactly what you're going to say. I love that. Like I would never have stuck with something scripted over this length of time. To some degree, finding out midstream what you think about a thing, to me, is an extremely fun experience. It's incredibly rewarding to be able to go, I wonder how I feel about X. Video game violence, reviews, whatever it is. It could be countless things, some of which we've covered in these episodes. Um, I think the other thing that like keeps me going is this idea and this feeling of exploration through the process of finding out, by just talking it through and just having an audience. And maybe it's a big audience, maybe it's a small audience. That can't matter. You can't get involved with how many people are listening to me, and did I sell ads or not sell ads and all that stuff. Like you have to have a passion for it, or at least for me, I have to have a passion for something like this to keep it going. Because in the end, whether you're recording for yourself, whether you're recording a podcast with your best friends, whatever, if you're not interested in the things you're talking about, if you wouldn't be sitting there just thinking about them anyway, it's never going to work. It's never going to hold down. No amount, I believe personally, no amount of money, no amount of internet celebrity or fame is going to sustain that. It's along the ideas of what I talked about, I think, a few episodes ago, which is, knowing a lot of developers, they reach a point too where the fame or the awareness or the excitement for, the fact that they made Overwatch or Bioshock or, whatever game it is. Um, that kind of, there is something that bolsters you about having people support you and be fans of you and be, sending in comments or questions or being engaged. But in the end, those things don't actually hold up, don't prop up the work, right? They make it worthwhile and they make it exciting. And it's an incredible experience to have those sorts of have people behind you and cheering for you and being part of what you're doing. And that definitely makes it better. But whether you do or don't succeed, whether you are or are not able to keep it going and sustain it over a long period, has very little to do with that part of it. It's at least specifically, like, I guess I mean that from the idea of it doesn't sustain you from an ego perspective. It does sustain you from an engagement perspective, which is a super, we don't have, no wonder we're having trouble. Which is a super sort of social media thing to say, I realize. Okay, that's going again. But what I mean by that is it shouldn't matter the volume. It rarely matters the volume. Whether I have one great comment or 100 great comments, whether I get one good email or 50 good emails, whether I, the fact that somebody else is engaging out there and is interested in these things and makes it possible for me to talk about them is what sustains me. Volume's irrelevant. I say fame is irrelevant from the perspective of somebody who's clearly got, not like I don't have any illusions about, my status and presence. All we have to do is, it's just not a thing. But what has sustained me over all these months and years, and I guess a decade now, is the opportunity to say something that interests me on a topic that interests me to people, to like-minded people who are also interested in that thing, and to share that experience with my best friends in the world. Like, that is podcasting in a nutshell to me, and it's why I've done it and can keep doing it all those years. And all these years later, think, boy, it seems like it's going to be easy to make it to 10 a year, or years, or 20 years, or 1,000 episodes, or whatever, because yeah. The ultimate lesson is a trite one and an easy one, and one that almost seems like at times not worth saying, but I think it is, which is that do what you love, do what you're interested in, and maybe people will get interested in it with you, maybe they won't. That can't be the point. That can't be the idea you put behind it. I hear people who've been extremely successful, talk about talk about being able, so many bad guys. Please, nope, 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 all the nopes. Run, 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 run. Oh God, where are my things? Shoot him, 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 shoot him. Oh, that one's out. Oh my God, shoot him before I die. Oh, and there's more. Oh, no, 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 no. Holy crap. What is this? Is this like an invasion? This may be the end of our game. No, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, no. Oh, that was so bad. I'll figure out what to do. Anyway, the whole point of this is just like find something you love doing and do it because you love it. Not because, and if people find you and they get interested in you, that's great, but that shouldn't be why you do it. That should just be a real benefit and a real honor. And that's what it is for me. So yeah, that was a super rambly thought process around podcasting. We did I did. Oh, that was just bad. This won't be the end. Don't worry. I'll probably go back and reload this up and set up a little bit better defense there. I think maybe organize my turrets up before. This is a big wide open space. That's the real trouble here. Anyway, I will be back. We'll pick it up. This never happened. Don't worry about this. Um, as always, my name is Sean Sands from Gamers with Jobs. This has been Factorio in Conversation. Thank you so much, as always, for joining. We will see you real soon.